Hi, my name is Melissa Wilson, and today we're going to be doing a foundational class focusing on hip openers. And we're going to get started today in a seated position. So if everybody can find their way to a seated position, we're going to place one hand on our chest, one hand on our belly. We're going to soften our gaze, start to settle into our seat, and start to bring our thoughts internal. Noticing how your body moves with each inhale and exhale. Noticing how your chest expands and contracts. With each inhale, we're going to start to take that breath down deeper, down to that bottom hand, starting to fill the belly in, taking that big deep inhale, and then on our exhale, letting all the air come back out. First, exhaling out of that belly, all the way up through that rib cage. If you're not already doing so, transitioning that breath to your nose. Filtering that breath through your nasal passages, down through your throat. Fill the lungs and fill the belly. And then reversing the action and taking it all the way back out. And as we continue to keep our gaze soft and our mind centered on that breath, we're going to take our arms down by our side, letting them hang down. Starting to feel that chest open and push forward with each inhale, and on your exhale, pulling it back just slightly. As you curl your belly in, moving into a seated cat-cow without using our arms, just moving our chest in and out. Starting to incorporate our arms with a big inhale. We're going to take our arms up overhead, reach up, and exhale, release the arms back down to the ground. Continuing with our breath, moving through our flow as we create bigger motions with our breath. On your next inhale, reach your arms up and hold them up. And on your exhale, twist to the right side, taking your arms to the right. And hold. Big inhale to center back. Exhale to twist the other way. inhale to rise back up. Reach up, look up towards the sky. And on your exhale, fold forward, reaching your arms out in front of you, allowing your head to fall between your arms. Releasing all tension from your head and neck, shaking your head yes or no. Allowing that tension to relieve from the neck, and letting your body lean forward over yourself. And start to walk your hands back up to a seated position. We're going to extend our right leg out to the side, keeping our left foot in at our hip. We're going to turn towards that right leg and walk our hands down towards that right foot. Keeping our right hand down on our right foot. We're going to reach up and over with our left arm, opening up through the side body. We want to create a line of energy, pulling our arm across towards that other leg. And exhale as you bring it all the way back up, switching to the other side, extending that left leg. And again, walking yourself down over that front leg. Keeping the left hand out at the left leg and reaching that right arm up and over, creating that line of energy, pulling through the side body. And as we bring it all the way back up to center, we're going to move on to our hands and knees to come into our cat and cow. We're going to be placing our knees underneath our hips, our wrists underneath our shoulders, and spreading our fingers out wide, pressing into each finger. As we inhale, we're going to lower our belly towards the mat, lifting up our chin. As we exhale, we're going to tuck everything up and in, curling our chin towards our belly. Using our breath again as our guide, we're going to create a motion here like a wave as we bring from one extent to the other. This last breath in, we're going to start to bring ourselves back to the center. And we're going to allow our hips to fall over to the right. Inhale up, exhale to the left. Just creating motion in the lower back and in the hips as we take our hips from side to side. Returning back to center. We're going to extend our right arm straight out in front of us, reaching towards the front of our mat, and press that left foot back towards that back side of the mat, pulling the fingertips away from the toes, flexing the back foot, and lengthening through the spine. As we return that right hand down to the mat, we're going to pull that left knee in towards the chest and extend it back on our exhale, or inhale. On our exhale, we're going to pull that knee into our chest Inhale to extend. Exhale to pull in. And hold it in here for just 2 breaths. And then gently lower it back to the ground. Moving through your cat and cow. And returning back to center. Extending your left arm out in front of you and your right leg back towards the back of the mat. Pulling back with those toes, extending from fingertips to heel. Lengthening through the spine. Finding that focal point on your mat. Maybe a few inches in front of your hands. And releasing that left hand to your mat. Inhaling your leg back. Exhaling your knee to your chest. Inhale to take it back. Exhale to your chest. And repeating this as you go with your breath. And on your next exhale, hold that knee in. Hold that knee in towards the chest for 2 breaths. Gently lowering it down to the ground. We're going to take our feet together, knees out wide, and sink back into our child's pose. Pressing our hips down towards our feet, towards our heels, and pressing our chest down towards our mat. We're going to extend our arms up over our head, reaching out for that front of the mat. Way back up to our hands and knees. We're going to lower our chest all the way down to the ground. Keeping our hands by our chest, we're going to come up into mini cobra. Keep the neck long. Lower the chin back down to the mat. Press into the hands, pressing up to the hands and knees, curling the toes under and coming up into our first down dog. We're going to take a second here to settle into our down dog by pedaling our feet as if we were walking in place. Take your time as you rotate between one knee forward and the other. Pressing your chest in towards your legs. And start to settle your heels down towards your mat. Pressing the heels towards your mat, pressing your chest towards your legs. Keeping the hips high in the sky. Going to bend the knees a lot here. Looking forward, we're going to walk our feet all the way up to our hands. Coming into a forward fold. Bending the knees so that the chest can come down towards the legs. We're going to hang the arms down towards the mat. And we're going to start to create a side-to-side motion with our upper body. And as we start to come back to center, we're going to roll up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Rolling our shoulders back last, coming into our mountain pose. We're going to find that focal point, that drishti. Keeping with the deep breaths. Big inhale to reach up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Reach your hands down for the mat or your blocks. We're going to step our right foot back, coming to a low lunge here. Keeping up on our toes, we're going to scoot that back foot back so that we have a front knee in a 90-degree angle. Gently lower that back knee down to the ground, uncurl the toes, and raise up through the chest. Bringing your hands either to blocks or to your knee, presenting your chest to the front of the mat. Pressing the back hip down towards your mat. If you want a little bit more balance work here, you can reach your arms energetically up towards the ceiling. Pull your shoulders down in place so that they're not up in your ears. And remember, you can always bring your hands down to that mat or block. Bringing your hands back down to our mat. We're going to press our hips back, bringing the front feet off the ground, front toes off the ground, coming into half splits. As we press our legs back forward into that low lunge again, we're going to keep our right hand down on our mat or block and take our left hand to our hip. We're going to rotate open towards that left leg, rotating with the chest, and then extending the arm up to open it up to the left side. Returning that left hand back down to the ground. We're going to roll into the side of our front foot, dropping the knee out to the side. Coming into a lizard pose. Before returning it back in space. And sinking again back into those half splits. Pressing back forward into that lunge. And curl the back toes under. Finding that low lunge again. Keeping the back heel up off the ground. Start to walk yourself up to your blocks, maybe up to your knee. Pressing into that back foot, a little bit of balance practice here. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can come all the way up into crescent lunge, reaching the arms energetically up towards the sky. And as we bring our hands back down to our mat, we're going to step the back foot up to meet the forward foot, coming back into that forward fold. Halfway lift and fold. Reach your arms all the way up to standing. Reach up high. And as we reach up high, we're going to step back with our right foot, coming into warrior one. Pressing back through the back heel, taking your foot at a diagonal, we're going to open up into warrior two. Reaching through your fingers, pulling them away from each other and taking that gaze over that front middle finger. Gonna lift through the belly. Lowering the back hand, flipping the front hand and going into reverse warrior. Returning back to warrior one. Reaching your arms forward and then bringing your left arm to your elbow and taking that right arm up and over your head, reaching it towards the front of the room, creating a line of energy from your heel all the way up through your fingertips, opening that chest to the side wall. Returning all the way up to warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg. Again, reach forward, and we're going to turn again to the side, reaching down towards that bottom leg. Bringing the top hand down to meet the bottom. We're going to rotate that back leg back forward to the front of the room and step it back to the front, forward fold. Halfway lift, unfold. Step your feet back into your plank. Lower your knees, release your toes down, and gently lower yourself all the way down to your mat. Inhale to raise your chest up into baby cobra. And exhale back to child's pose. Taking a second here to recenter, bringing your focus back to your breath if you've lost it. Allowing your body a moment of stillness before we repeat the other side. As we come back up onto our hands and knees, we're going to bring our left foot forward in between our hands, walking that foot forward until we get that 90 degrees. We're going to curl that toe under and do that low lunge. Wiggling the foot back if we need to find a little bit more space. And then as we set that knee down and release that foot, we're going to start to walk ourselves up to our knee. Oh. Yeah. Thank you. Pressing that hip towards the mat. We are on the other side. The left leg back now. And start to reach those arms up, pressing that back hip down towards the mat. Pulling the shoulders down. Bringing the hands down to the mat. Taking that left hand to the mat this time, or the block. Right hand to your hip as you rotate open, and then extend the arm, opening the chest to the side wall. Releasing the hands down to the ground. Sitting back in your heel, into your hips, pulling the front toes up off your mat into that half splits. As you pull yourself back forward towards that front foot, we're going to drop our knee out to the outside, rolling onto the outside of our foot. As we bring it back, we're going to curl those back toes under, coming up into that low lunge again. You can stay right here with your hands on your mat or your block. You can bring your hands up towards your knee, raising your chest up towards the front of your mat. And maybe even bringing your arms up, coming into your crescent lunge. Finding that balance, finding that focal point. And as our hands return down to our mat, we're going to step that back foot forward, coming into that forward fold. Halfway lift and fold. Reach your arms up for the sky. We're going to reach up and we're going to reach back this time. Taking a micro back bend here. And as we exhale, fold forward again. Halfway lift and fold. Reach down for the ground. And we're going to step our our left foot back this time. Taking it to warrior one. Pressing back through the back of the foot, from the heel all the way through that knife side of that foot. Reaching up with the arms, bending that front knee. And opening up into warrior two. Extending the arms out each direction of your mat. Lifting through the belly. Lowering that back arm and reversing that warrior. Bring ourselves back to warrior two. And then reach forward with our body before we bring that elbow down to the knee. And reach that arm up towards the front of your mat. Up over your head, creating a line of energy from your fingertips all the way down through your heel. Rotating the body open to the side. And returning back up to warrior two. Straightening the front leg. We're going to reach forward and bring our hand down to the front leg, reaching our arm up towards the ceiling, again being open to the side wall. Bringing that top hand down to the mat, turning the toes back towards the front into that low lunge. Bringing that front foot forward, forward fold. I want you to take a hold of your big toe and pull your chest down towards your legs. And as you release your fingers, I want you to roll all the way up to standing. Big inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Bending your knees, stepping back with your right foot. Bring it back to warrior one. Open up to warrior two. And bring our hands to our hips. We're going to start to rotate our body to the side of our mat. Rotating both our toes out to the outside. Hands are staying at our hips for right now. And then extend your arms out to the side. We're going to fold forward in a flat back. Holding it right here for just a second. And then releasing down towards your mat. Bringing your hands down to your mat or your blocks. This would be a good opportunity to practice headstand if that's part of your practice. Or just stay here in the nice center stretch. You might need to walk your feet further out or further in, depending on the looseness and tightness of your hips. We're going to shift our weight towards the right side, bending the right knee and bringing the left toes up off the ground. We're going to try to raise our chest up towards the front, sinking into that right hip. Everything towards the right side. And as we come back up through center, walking it over to the left side. Coming back to center, we're going to walk our feet in just slightly here. As we lower our hips, we're going to come into a low squat here. You can use your block to hold yourself up. Try to lift through the heart. Pressing into the heels, try to raise up. You can use your hands to walk yourself up. We're going to take our arms out to the side and sink into our goddess. Lifting through the chest. Raising all the way up to standing, turning and stepping back to the front of our mat. Big inhale up. Exhale your arms down to your side. And start to bring your right leg back behind you as we move into airplane. You can always move to the wall or off your mat if you need a little bit more help with the balance. We're going to start to bend that front knee. Bring the back leg up off the ground as we pull our fingertips back towards that back wall. Creating a flow of energy from our forehead all the way down through our heel, pulling our toes back and finding a drishti on the floor a couple feet in front of you. Slowly raise all the way back up. Big inhale. Sink back into our chair. Big inhale up. Exhale the arms to the side as we move to the other side, taking the left foot back behind us and starting to hinge forward. A slight bend in the standing knee might help a little bit with your balance, but you really want to press through the whole foot. Extend the neck and head. a strap with you, you're gonna bring that strap under your right foot. And you're going to lift that knee to the front here, right? You can always stand by that wall again, micro bend in that front knee. If you don't have a strap, you're just going to be holding your foot up, flexing the toes, pulling them up towards you. We're going to take our knee, we're going to open it up to the outside, extending the opposite arm, coming into balance here. Now if you don't have a strap, you can extend both arms. Bringing the knee back to the front and gently lowering it down to the ground. Big inhale. Exhale down as we go to the other side. Again, if you have a strap, using it to lift your foot. Opening the hip out to the outside, extending the opposite hand. You can even try looking towards that opposite hand if you have the space for it. It can also be done standing against a wall. Your back against the wall, flat against the wall. Just to bring the openness in the front of the hips. Gently bring it back to the front. Lower that foot. Release the strap. Big inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Let all that out. And start to come into your tree pose. I'm going to start by start by attaching the left foot to the ground, really rooting down through the whole foot, and then rotating open with the right hip. Bringing the toes either to the mat, right by your ankle, your foot to your calf, or maybe you can bring your foot all the way up to your thigh. What you want to do is you want to press those legs together. Then we're going to bring our hands together and press them in together, creating an energy force field. Everything pressing in, everything pulling in and up. And then you can extend your arms, coming into your version of tree for today, whether that is with your arms extended or maybe out at the side. Whatever is best for you today. It may be a different one than what you did yesterday. Bringing our hands back into our heart and gently releasing our foot down. Transferring the weight to the right foot and repeating on the left. Starting with the foot low and raising it up to where it is best for you, making sure not to put it at your knee, so as to not apply pressure inward for your knee. Creating tension in your body before you extend up and find your expression. Our hands back to our heart, gently lowering our foot down. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to bring your arms back down. Turn back to the front of your mat. Big inhale up and forward fold. Step your feet back to your plank and lower your knees as you lower your body all the way down to your mat. Press up into your cobra, mini cobra, wherever it is you're right for you right now. And sink back into your child's pose. As we pull ourselves back up to our hands and knees, we're going to lower ourselves again down to our mat and roll ourselves onto our back. We're going to be setting up for a bridge pose. We want to make sure that we keep our neck in line with our spine, so we want to make sure we're looking straight up towards the ceiling. Placing our feet down by our hips, hands down by our sides. On our inhale, we're going to lift our hips up high, pulling our shoulders together, lifting that belly up, lifting the hips up, squeezing through the bottom, and taking our deep breaths again. Slowly lowering our back down to the mat. And letting our knees fall to the right and to the left as if they're windshield wipers. Bringing our feet back to center, knees back up to center. One more time, lifting up into our bridge. Big inhale to lift up. And this time, maybe you try to bind your hands, reaching your hands together underneath you, reaching down towards your heels, lifting maybe just a little higher. Maybe you can bring your arms flat on the ground. Whatever it is, reaching for elbows. Releasing the bind in your arms and lowering your hips down to the ground. We're going to take our feet to the outside of our mats and knock our knees in towards the center. Bring our knees back up, our feet back to the center. We're going to bring our knees into our chest. And we're going to start to create motion, rocking back and forth, rocking all the way up to a seated position. We're going to extend our legs straight out in front of us, and we're going to take and move any extra sunshine out from underneath us. Sitting up tall, pulling our shoulders back, creating a line from our back of our head all the way down through our hips, pulling our toes back towards us. And then reaching our arms out in front of us as we take our big inhale. As we exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips, reaching forward, not allowing that chest to fall, but just reaching out towards those toes. Big inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold, reaching for those toes, allowing your head to drop. Shaking it, yes. Allowing the extra space. And as we roll all the way back up to seated, we're going to take our legs out wide to the outside. We're going to keep our chest high as we walk our hands out in front of us, pressing our chest towards the mat, not allowing to drop, but just pressing that chest towards the mat. It may be a small movement. Walk ourselves all the way back up. We're going to take ourselves back to the front of our mat, bringing our feet underneath us, coming back to those hands and knees. We're gonna start to bring our right knee forward, coming into our pigeon. And start to bring it across our body and start to move back with that back leg, coming into a settling in our hips. And we're gonna try to level out our hips. We can always take a block under the higher hip. If we need to have a little bit more space, a little bit more support, we're gonna start to walk ourselves forward onto our forearms or down towards our block. You can place a block underneath your forehead. Allow yourself to settle down to your mat, watching to make sure that our hip does not drop to the outside, but stays towards that level. Your front foot may come forward more towards the front of your mat, or it may stay a normal 45-degree angle. You just need to listen to your hips, to what it has space for today. Where's the right place to be? We start to walk ourselves back up to seated here. We're gonna curl our back toes under, bringing our back leg back to that hands and knees. Before moving our left foot forward, coming into that left side. Again, settling through the hips first before we start to walk ourselves forward into that fold. Bring yourself back up through center. And we're gonna bring ourselves over up to the side, all the way down, to bring ourselves down onto our back. Bringing our knees into our chest again. And gently rocking side to side. Taking a hold of our big toes, we're gonna come into happy baby. You can continue rocking here, or maybe stillness is the right place for you today. You might try extending one leg and then the other. Just take a moment to play here. Find any stretches your body needs here. Bring our knees back into our chest. We're going to take them to a tabletop position, flat shins towards the ceiling, and drop both knees over to the right side, extending out our left arm and looking out over our left hand. Slowly start bringing the legs over to the left side, looking out to the right. As we start to come back to the center, we're going to start to move any last motions our body needs before we can find our Savasana, our rest. And then start to lengthen out the body on your mat. Starting to take up a lot of space on your mat. Starting to release the feet and ankles. Dropping all tension from the knees. Allowing the hips to fall open. Settling the spine down into your mat. Bringing your chest to a relaxed state, returning your breath back to natural, but watching the rhythm of it. Noticing the wave as your chest rises and falls with each inhale and exhale. Letting go through your shoulders, down through your fingertips. Relaxing your jaw and neck. Softening your gaze to allow your moment of rest. This moment of appreciation for your body, for the work that it achieved today. For any openness you might found today. Acknowledging the difficulties sometimes found in just arriving on your mat. Allowing your mind to settle. As we start to bring motion back to our bodies, we want to start with those little muscles of the fingers and toes, wiggling and starting to wake up your body as you move to larger muscles, moving up your arms and legs. Reaching our arms up above our head, we're going to start to stretch our body fully out as if awakening for our day. And slowly bringing our knees in towards our chest. We're going to allow our body to fall to one side, coming to rest on our side for one last moment of stillness. Gently press yourself up to a seated position. Keeping your gaze soft, bringing your hands to your heart. Releasing your arms down to your side. Take a big inhale to reach up. Exhale the arms back down. Inhale to raise up. Exhale the arms back. One last big inhale together. Bring your hands down to your heart as you let it all out. Thank you for taking this time today to join me in taking care of your body, mind, and soul. Namaste.